January 13, 2012. The Costa Concordia, a luxurious cruise liner carrying over 4,000 passengers and crew, sails through the calm waters of the Mediterranean. But disaster is just moments away. What started as a dream vacation soon turned into a nightmare. A ship, seemingly invincible, would be torn apart. A tragedy that would be compared to the sinking of the Titanic. But what went wrong on the Costa Concordia? The Costa Concordia disaster, January 13, 2012. At the heart of the disaster was one man, Captain Francesco Schettino. A seasoned captain, Schettino made a shocking decision that would lead to one of the most catastrophic maritime accidents of the 21st century. Instead of following the planned course, Schettino steered the massive ship dangerously close to the island of Giglio. He wanted to perform a salute to a retired captain, but the maneuver would come at an unimaginable cost. The Costa Concordia struck an underwater rock outcrop with such force that it created a 50-meter-long gash in the hull, flooding multiple compartments. The ship began to list heavily, and panic soon spread across the decks. But it wasn't just the captain's mistake that led to disaster. The evacuation process was disastrous in itself. The crew failed to respond effectively. Lifeboats were poorly deployed, and many were not even used at all. The passengers had no idea how severe the situation was, and by the time they realized the gravity of the disaster, the ship was already capsizing. Some had to jump into the sea, while others waited hours for rescue. Meanwhile, Captain Schettino was accused of abandoning ship while passengers were still trapped on board. In the aftermath, Schettino became the face of the tragedy. In court, he was accused of manslaughter, abandoning ship, and causing a shipwreck. His actions and inactions would haunt him for the rest of his life. Francesco Schettino, convicted of manslaughter. The Costa Concordia was eventually righted and towed away, but the damage had been done. 32 people lost their lives, and the cruise industry was shaken to its core. The tragedy sparked widespread calls for better safety measures and more stringent regulations in the maritime industry. The Costa Concordia disaster has been compared to the Titanic tragedy of 1912. Both involved massive ships, both were caused by human error, and both had disastrous consequences. Titanic of 2012, the Titanic sank after striking an iceberg. The Costa Concordia capsized after hitting a rock. Both were costly mistakes, both caused loss of life, and both left a legacy of questions about safety, leadership, and human error. Since the Costa Concordia disaster, the cruise industry has made significant changes. Ships are now required to carry more lifeboats, crew members receive better emergency training, and stricter protocols have been put in place to prevent similar disasters from happening again.